Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is another episode of your OGR as we got game 2 of the conference finals as the Oilers, of course, are going up against the Avs. And, where do we even start with this game, man? Defensive failures, we couldn't get any offense going. We didn't even score a goal in this game as we lost 4-0. And just many defensive mistakes, and somehow we played Duncan Keith 23 minutes of ice time, which is just making me want to puke right now. So before we get into this video, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to slap that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. I honestly don't imagine this video being a very long video, to be quite honest with you, just because of the fact that this game was embarrassing. Really was. There wasn't a lot to talk about. The Oilers just did not do a single thing. We didn't generate any offense throughout this entire game. Not McDavid. The only line that actually looked good was McLeod, Fogle, and Puljujärvi. That was the only line that looked good throughout the entire night. The Edmonton Oilers didn't do jack shit. Like, the Avs were off to a slow start to this game as well until they started picking it up. And even then, the Avs were kind of writing it in. They seen how the Oilers were just looking so goddamn defeated. We didn't do anything out there. We did nothing. Absolutely nothing. We did nothing. And we made some really bad defensive mistakes, which we're going to be getting into. Because honestly, that's all we got to fucking talk about. Because the Oilers did score a goal. They were just an abomination all night long. Let's get into it. The first period, nothing really happened. The Oilers weren't able to generate a whole lot. We weren't able to get anything going. We just weren't playing very well. The second period, this is where, you know, the goal scoring started to come into effect, where they scored like 3 goals in like under 2 minutes, which was just crazy. Luckinen got the first goal for the Avs, getting his 5th of the season. This was a really bad move by Darnell Nurse. I don't know what he was doing. He missed the pass. The simple pass over to CC sent it a little too far ahead of him and turned it over to the Avs, which then proceeded to put it in the back of the net by a beautiful tip by Luckinen. And then Manson put a bomb into the back of the net, which Smith should have had this one, but he did not. Manson bombed it right past Smith, and now the Avs are up 2-0. And then right after that, Rantanen got his 3rd of the season for the Avs as well. This was a really bad change by Duncan Keith, but it was also a really bad step up by Bouchard. He, for some reason, went for the hit, which I don't understand why. I don't know why he went for the hit instead of trying to play for the puck instead. So he went for the hit and, you know, left Duncan Keith to, and I don't know what Duncan Keith was doing, because he was checking to see if there was going to be a line change, or if he had time for a line change. Decided to take one, which left Nurse kind of out of position and having to deal with a 2-on-1, and the Avs were able to bury one in the back of the net to give them a 3-0 lead, which then the Oilers proceeded to do absolutely nothing. Frank Coons was able to shut us down the rest of the game until Nate McKinnon got his 10th goal of the season on the power play, buried it right past Smitty to give the Avs a 4-0 lead. So that is it. That is basically all we got to talk about with this fucking game, because this team played like a bunch of goddamn buffoons. We did not give it at all. We played very, I gotta say, embarrassing, to say the least. We did not play very well. It was a really bad game from the Oilers from top to bottom. You could talk about the forward core. We could talk about their lines, Kane, McDavid, Heineman. We actually seen the split up of McDavid and Draisaitl, and it did not work. It really did not work tonight. Kane, McDavid, Hyman really did not have a good night. They were not great defensively, and they were one of our better offensive lines, but they were shut down majority of the game. They weren't able to generate anything. They weren't able to do nothing. Fogle, McLeod, Puljujärvi, they were really hard on the forecheck, and they actually quite looked really good as well. They were one of our better lines, but even then, that's not saying a whole lot, because the whole team just in general wasn't having a good night, and that line was one of our bright spots. Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamamoto got decked with a hit, which should have been a penalty on the play, but unfortunately it wasn't. Yeah, that line really didn't do a whole lot for offense either. And then, of course, the lineup that was the absolute fucking worst all the way down at the bottom of the list. Archibald, McLeod, and Ryan was one of our worst lines throughout the entire night, and I still cannot believe Archibald and Cassian are still in the lineup because they proceeded to do absolutely nothing throughout the entire night. The defensive pairings, Nurse and CC, they were just an abomination. Nurse just is really looking not good, man. His injury is really affecting him because he's been just looking like complete garbage this series and has not been looking very good defensively, and I think the Avs know that he's really injured, and they're bringing it to him. They're bringing the speed. They're pressuring Nurse really hard, and it looks like he's just cracking underneath the pressure. Keith and Bouchard, same thing. They weren't really looking very well throughout the entire night. They were probably our second worst defensive pairing on the night. They made some pretty bad plays. Bouchard stepped up, played pretty bad defensively on a few of the plays, and especially on that 2-on-1 that ended up being a goal. Kulak and Barry was probably one of our best defensive pairings. I really didn't have anything to complain about them. They were making some really smart, simple plays, which ended up, benefiting the Oilers really nicely as well, but they were probably one of our better pairings throughout the night. Mike Smith was just horrible once again. He really did not make the saves that we need him to make, but in the end, we didn't get any goals in this game anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered even if Smith did make those saves for the team, but it would have helped not going down 3-0, 2 minutes or not, yeah, in 2 minutes going down 3-0 really did not help the energy of this team. And quite honestly, this is not looking good for the Edmonton Oilers here, man. This really isn't. This is kind of fucking disappointing. Coming home from work last night and seeing the Oilers down 3-0 when the game was tied, that was an absolute piss off. Seeing that, because this team, I had a little bit of expectations to do a little bit better because of how well we were doing against everybody else. This team, I had a little bit more expectations because I wanted them to do good in this upcoming round, but now we're just getting pelted by the Avs, and the Avs are really showing us why they're here. They're showing us why they're one of the best teams in the NHL this past year, and why they're here at the conference finals, because they are one deadly ass team, and they are bringing it to the Edmonton Oilers, and it looks like we have no answers. It looks like our leadership is doing us dick all, isn't it, Holland? Didn't know that. And our poor fucking exits out of our own zone, I want to talk about that as well. The amount of times I seen Keith have to handle the puck and then just give it right to the Avs or send it right all the way down the ice. And I seen that with Nurse, I seen that with CC, I've seen that with just about every defenseman on this team in this past game, where we were, exiting the zone and one of our defensemen just sent it all the way down the ice or just gave it right back to the Avs. We simply cannot be doing that. And I simply cannot believe we played Keith 23 fucking minutes worth of ice time, because my lord, the amount of turnovers this guy was giving the Avs, he was just giving freebies to this team, like, all the time. And it's just an absolute piss off to be able to watch this team right now, because they're not playing very well. They're simply not. And I know a lot of people were complaining about the refs and how we only got 2 power plays and the Avs got 7. Look at the penalties. Yamamoto tripping, obvious trip. Draisaitl slashing, obvious slashing. Kulak elbowing, I don't remember that one. But all the penalties that we took was just very undisciplined and bad penalties, especially in the third period where we had a too many man call. Zach Cassian went to the box. Kane got a roughing penalty, and then he got another one. And then Darnell Nurse got a cross-checking. So, the last 3 penalties were all on us, being a fucking bunch of buffoons because we were pissed off about us losing. And if we're going to be pissed off about us losing, then go fucking do something about it instead of being a fucking moron and taking penalties. And let's stop playing Archibald and Cassian. They're doing nothing. We're playing them 5-6 minutes of ice time when they're doing absolute fucking nothing out there. Let's get someone young out there like Dylan Holloway. And especially if Yamamoto will most likely be injured because he was missing from the rest of the game, we might as well throw fucking Holloway in there. What's the point? I always see these analysts say, oh, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't throw these guys out there. Why the fuck not? Why not? McCarr did the exact same thing when he was a rookie. He played in the playoffs. Tons of these other guys have done it. Why not give Holloway a try in these playoffs? When we're down 2-0, you might as well give it a shot. Because the past 2 games, we have done absolute fucking nothing. We didn't generate any offense for a good probably 5-6 minutes where we were stuck in our own zone, or we had it in the zone and we were just cycling the puck on the outside. And every time we took a shot, it was fucking blocked. Or it wasn't even a shot. It wasn't even a great opportunity. The amount of shots we had in this game, we didn't even have very many great scoring chances throughout this entire game. It was absolute embarrassing for this team. And honestly, we got to pick it up here in Game 3 if we're really going to want to come back in this series. And I swear to God, if we're going to continue continue to see Archibald in the lineup, we're not going to see wins here, man. Like, this is just... And I'm not blaming everything on Archibald because, yeah, McDavid, he didn't have a very good night. He wasn't doing anything out there. Draisaitl wasn't doing a whole lot for the Edmonton Oilers throughout the entire night. There was a lot of players that didn't do a whole lot throughout the entire night that need to be talked about, and that we played very bad defensively, without a doubt. But there's some things that we can change to make this team a little bit better, and I think inserting some younger players to give us a little bit of energy right now is not a bad idea because this team looks fucking lifeless. We look like we were on top of the world against the Flames, and now we just look like we're lifeless here against the Avs. It is just a polar opposite looking team right now compared to what we were doing against the Flames, and now what we're doing against the Avs. And it could just be the opponents, but the Oilers just look like complete ass out there. Pure and simple, we look like complete ass, and we need to play a lot better if we're going to want to come back in this series. If not, we're probably going to get swept right now because that's the way that it's looking. We got to bring our A game going into the next game, and we'll have to see if that is going to be able to be done. But I'm going to end the OGR here, guys. There's nothing very much else to talk about, but for the fact that every one of these guys really played like guys. There was no one really talked about that was a bonus. We need a top 2 defenseman, and Darnell Nurse is not that guy. I mean, his injury could be really affected him. We know he has a pretty bad injury right now, so it's unfortunate, but really that's it, guys. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.